So I mentioned in passing that we bought a car to replace the 27-year-old Toyota. So we've got this 19-year-old Almera, Nissan Almera, which is the N16 version. We've had one of these before, and the other one, the Samsung gearbox, failed at 198,000 miles. People realise in the UK that most cars are manual, and that's what this is. So we need to fit a CB radio to this, and I'll be buying a Thunderpole T3000 radio. Now the one we have in the Nissan Leaf, which we use as the test vehicle, that was sent to us gratis from Thunderpole, but we were buying this one. The reason that I think they did that was that I said we were using the Midland 78s at the time and had problems with the extreme temperatures where they're slow to lock on transmit. And I said, you know what, the only set which I would have of current models in the test car is a Thunderpole 3000. Ka-chunk one turned up, you know, so it is very satisfactory. So we'll be buying one of those, and that's fine. So we need to put an aerial on this car. This isn't instead of the Nissan Leaf, which we use as a test vehicle. There's just times when if we could pull in a test in another car, it would be convenient. I'll give you an example. Imagine Mr. Chippy is out and about, and I suddenly finish a radio, and he's actually at the kind of location where we're doing tests, and I could say to him, can we just do a test? We can do a test. Whereas he's got to come all the way back and pick a car up. So it won't be exactly the same. The aerial's going to have to go on the back of the roof, and it means it'll be better in the way it's facing than the way that it is going. So as he drives away from me here at Tsngo Towers, this car will be inferior in its performance to the Nissan Leaf, which is in the centre of the roof, but it's not quite in the centre because when you not the centre of the vehicle. So anyway, we'll see how we go, and what we need to do is to put a 3/8 stud mount in. We only do drilled in aerials, no mag mounts, everything's drilled in. It makes a massive difference to performance. So move the camcorder, and we need to start drilling holes. So on this kind of car, the place to put it is the back of the roof. You know what, I unlocked it, it's auto locked itself. I think that's what he said anyway. Just open the boot, the tripod for a moment. There isn't a reason why it can't go in the middle of the roof. I think it's probably a wiring convenience. So we've got, it's not like there's any lamps or anything, but that's probably why it was done. I'll probably put it a bit further back than the previous one. Put this back on the tripod. Just see whether we can release a bit of the headlining from this end. Yeah, we need to get some tools to remove the studs. So I need to, it's double skinned at the back, so need to get beyond that. So it's about that much. I'm just going to put this pack of sandpaper in, just so that my drill doesn't end up going through the headlining. I could even use something hard like a piece of metal, but you know, there isn't one. I'm just going to, I'm not going to do anything. This is my car. I'm not going to bother measuring it. Let's close the boot. And I think about there. You know what? Got a flat battery on the drill. You could guess that, couldn't you? Okay, well, we've got another identical drill. I'll put that battery on charge. We haven't charged these drills for, I think it was it last June we finished the organ job here. So, you know, we've been sat there a year. This one looks like it's got more charge in it. Right, so that's the 3mm hole, a 1/8 of an inch is a pilot hole. So now we're going to swap the drill bit. So it's supposed to be a 10mm bit next, but can I spot one quickly? No. So we're going to use one of these 3/8 stud mounts. Is that in camera? Which uses the TA connector, and they need to be pretty substantial. So how many millimeters? I'll just move this viewfinder around so I can see what I'm showing you. We'll just use this micrometer thing and just see what we actually need. And it's, well, 11.7, it's 12mm. So we'll go through an 8mm and when we'll open it up with a cone cut, if we've got one big enough. So is there a cone cut that goes up to 12mm? I don't expect there is. Well, there's a step drill that does 12mm, so it looks like we're in business. To make sure my piece of sandpaper, my whole pack of sandpaper is in the right place. So I'm going to go through with a cone cut. It's going to go in deeper. Hopefully our aerial base will now go through that hole. Much quicker if you've got all the right tools to hand, of course. But how often do we do a fitting? Once every 6 years. Good. So it's absolutely right. Just want to make sure there's no nastiness there. So I need to go and get a spanner to go and fit this. Got to go and get a piece of kitchen paper and some cleaner, just to make sure there's no bits of filings anywhere near where we're screwing this base down. Right, so I found a 16mm spanner, which is what that fits, which you then drop on the floor. This is where you can do with somebody else, because somebody needs to be holding the top bit while you get the spanner to the other bit. So, very important is to put the seal on, and it's obvious which way that goes, so that fits in, and this is kind of skirted. That's my pack of sandpaper. It's like having to have a tool wrench, and that'll do. Get some of that glass. Good. So the result is we've got an aerial base which is securely mounted, and it will be earthed. We'll be checking the earth later. So the next thing that comes to mind is the aerial assembly cable. So you have the TA connector here. These are as high quality as you seem to be able to buy, but they're not high quality enough for me. It may be alright casually, but if we're doing tests, it needs to be better than this. So you can see, we can see the inner through the braid. I mean, at least it looks like it's copper, but I mean, some of these cables were tin foil. But we've got much higher quality cable. It's very, very expensive. I think I've got enough left to do this job. And we get it from RS. I'll probably have to stop the camera and show it you. I'm going to put one of these connectors on the end. And this could make the difference. You know, it could make 10 decibels difference. So, and I always cut these to the exact length we want. But that's the top and bottom of it. I want better quality cable than that, but it's eye-wateringly expensive. The RS cable is nearly £2 a metre for the same RG58 type of thing, but it's industrial stroke military, so there you go. You have to pay the money. So just got enough left, I reckon, for this car. So this is what I was talking about. If I get the purchased one, that was probably only about £5.99. Make sure that's in camera. Yeah, we can see the insulator through this. Now our cable is stupidly expensive, but you will see on this one, hopefully in camera, the difference between the braid structure. We can't see the white, and if I give you the part number, we're on is RS665 5849. It's £159.45 for 100 metre reel plus VAT. That's stupid money. So what we've just done, I've got Simon here today who's just assisting, is we've got heat shrink sleeving around this. We've used, I hadn't got one of these TA connectors and I've ordered one, but we want to use this car. So we've put a second-hand one on. Mr. Chippy's soldered that on, put some heat shrink sleeving around. We've not got a cap for this one, but so what? Now this is the type that doesn't have the built-in pin, so we need a pin adapter so that it ends up looking like that one. So I will go and find a pin adapter because there will be one in stock, and I'll go and put this cheap cable away. But it does make a difference over range, and we want it to be as good as possible, so that's why we've got this stupidly expensive industrial cable on it. So as hopefully you can see, the cable's now at the central pillar, gone through the headlining. So the idea is that we pull down just here, we pull down on here, and then we can thread it in, which I will do. So the cable's down the A pillar down there, I popped the glove box out. It was 5 screws and a couple of plastic clips for the hinges, and it's all behind there, and then it goes around the center console and you can see it just coming out from there. He said just leave a little bit more than usual because there are times we're using radios on a seat, so although there'll be a permanent setting, as I said. So that's as far as it goes at this end. What we've now got to do is just put the TA connector onto the aerial base, put a plug on here, and SWR it. Okay, so we're actually all done. Got a Red Thunder aerial. That is a faulty one, and if you look carefully you can see at the bottom, I'm in really bright light here, I can't see the viewfinder. Hopefully we can show the bottom where I've got self-amalgamating tape going, where I've soldered the aluminium rivet that goes through, and I've done that top and bottom. I now have proper continuity. I knew it was a return, but these have been and gone, and I want to particularly use one of these, so it's the same as the other car which we use as a test car. So back in, I honestly can't see what I'm showing here. The analyzer on, and we'll just see whether we can get that in the viewfinder. I think we can. So at 20, we're normally going to be on you. So right at the bottom, if we're on channel 1 CPT at 26.9, we've got 1.5 SWR, and then it peaks at about channel 3 UK, and then as we go up the band, we're about channel 31 there, it's 1.4 SWR, we go to channel 40 to 1.5, so it's pretty well centered on the 80 channels, but I've not gone to any special lengths to make it super spot on, because we're normally on 31. So we've got the really good coax. We're done. So the next video we'll do on this car, we'll do a power lead connected to the battery. So there we go, and I've got a little bit of this left. There's about 2 meters, which would be enough to do a front aerial. I'll put that back on the reel, and hope you found that slightly useful, drilling the car and putting the aerial in neatly. Thanks for watching.